Adult Solutions. Add-on desired.
Hello viewers, welcome to Adult Solutions Daily Current Affairs. I am Lokesh Pengonda. This session is designed mainly for aspirants preparing for banking, groups and such other competitive examinations. We cover news articles from both the Hindu and the Indian Express, so make a use of it. So in today's The Hindu newspaper, there is an article dealing with the CCI. So what does CCI stands for? It stands for the Competition Commission of India. This was set up in the year 2003 and this was set up under the Competition Commission of India Act 2002. So as this body is set up under this act, it will become a statutory body. Before enacting the Competition Commission of India, there was an act called as Monopolies and Trade Restrictive Practices Act. Trade Restrictive Practices Act of 1969. So this was an act mainly to prevent the monopolies and to prevent the trade restrictive practices, whereas after the recommendations of the Raghavan Committee, after taking the recommendations of the Raghavan Committee, this MRTP Act was replaced by the Competition Commission of India Act. So this is the background of the Competition Commission of India. Next, we have an article dealing with the Gatka. So what is a Gatka? Gatka is a Indian martial art form. It is a Indian martial arts form. In the image, you can see how two Sikh warriors are fighting with swords. So in the Gatka, there will be use of swords and even sticks. Traditionally, Gatka is associated with the Sikh gurus and the Sikh community. So when you have a question dealing with Gatka, you should always remember that it is associated mainly with the Sikh gurus and the Sikh community, and it is an Indian martial art form. Next, we have an article where it is stated that the Sushil Chandra, where Mr. Sushil Chandra will take over as the new CEC or the Chief Election Commissioner. He will be the 24th Chief Election Commissioner of India. Now, we'll talk about the Election Commission. Election Commission is a constitutional body, that is, it was set up under the constitutional provisions. This Election Commission body is responsible for conducting the elections of Lok Sabha MPs, Rajya Sabha MPs and states and union territories, members of legislative assemblies, and also it is also responsible for the conduction of election of the president and the vice president. So this is a body mainly responsible for the conduction of election for the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and legislative assemblies of both states and the union territories, and also for the position of the president and vice president of India. So who will lead it? It will be led by the Chief Election Commissioner along with election commissioners. Currently, that is presently, we have one CEC and two election commissioners. So the number of election commissioners can be increased or decreased by the president. Also, you should remember that both the CECs, that is the Chief Election Commissioners, and the ECs, that is the Election Commissioners, are appointed by the President. They will have a tenure of 6 years or till the age group of 65, whichever is earlier. So they would have a tenure of 6 years, or they would have the tenure till they become 65 years old, whichever comes earlier. So this is a background of the Chief Election Commissioner and the other election commissioners. Next, we have an article dealing with the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act. Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 2021. This act is an amendment of the Medical Termination Act of 1971. So there was a Medical Termination Act of 1971, and recently it was amended with the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act. Now we will see the main provisions regarding this MTP Act of 2021. It permitted abortions up to 20 weeks with the opinion of just one doctor. Earlier, there was a MTP Act of 1971. That earlier act allowed the abortion to be conducted till only 12 weeks. And now, this new act or the amendment act is allowing the abortion till the 20th week of the pregnancy. So this is an important change. Next is, this new amendment act also allowed for the termination of pregnancies beyond 20 weeks but less than 24 weeks if two doctors are giving a recommended opinion. So for abortion for less than 20 weeks, then only one doctor opinion is required, and for aborting the pregnancy after 20 weeks but before 24 weeks, then you would require the opinion of two doctors. Whereas this new amendment also brought in a provision where you can terminate your pregnancy even after 24 weeks if there are fetal abnormalities, but this termination can only be allowed if the state medical board allows it. So for less than 20 weeks, the pregnancy can be terminated with one doctor's opinion. For pregnancy termination between 20 to 24 weeks, you would require two doctors' opinion, whereas for termination of pregnancies after 24 weeks, it can only be done in the case of fetal abnormalities or any problems to the mother. So this can only be done if the state medical board allows it. So these are the important changes which are brought in through this Amendment Act of 2021. Next, we have an article which is dealing with Indian Rhino Vision 2020. So what is this Indian Rhino Vision of 2020? This was a vision or a goal set up in the year 2005. So its main aim or the objective is to increase the number of wild one-horned rhinos to nearly 3,000 in the state of Assam. So this is one objective, that is to increase the wild one-horned rhinoceros to 3,000 in the state of Assam, and also they have a second goal where it was stated that these 3,000 one-horned rhinoceros should be present in 7 protected areas of Assam. So in all the 7 protected areas of Assam, some rhinoceros should exist. What are these 7 protected areas? They are Kaziranga, Pobithora, Orang, Manas, these are all national parks. So these rhinoceros should exist or should stay in 4 national parks and also in 3 wildlife sanctuaries. So what are these 3 wildlife sanctuaries which are situated in Assam and which are part of the Indian Rhinoceros Vision 2020? These are Dibru Saikova, Burachapuri, and next is Lav Kova Wildlife Sanctuary. So what type of questions can be expected from this article? You can expect a question something like this: where is Lav Kova Wildlife Sanctuary situated in? Or you can expect a question like, according to the Indian Rhinoceros Vision Plan of 2020, what is the target number of wild one-horned rhinoceros that is expected to be present in the state of Assam by the year 2020? So they can ask the target number, or they can give you any of the wildlife sanctuary or the national park which we mentioned now and ask it to be connected to a particular state. Next, we have an article where we can see that the government has asked the gold hallmarking retailers to. Next, we have an article where we can see that the gold hallmarking has been made mandatory by the government from June 1st of 2021. So what is a gold hallmarking? It is a purity certification. Earlier, the gold hallmarking used to be an optional process, whereas from this point of time, that is the June 1st of 2021, it has been made mandatory. So what are all marks will be involved in the gold hallmarking scheme? In the image you can see 4 marks which will be present according to the gold hallmarking scheme. So what are these 4 marks or the readings? First is the BIS mark, you can see here. This provides for the BIS mark. Next is the purity of the gold. So whatever purity that gold is, it will be mentioned here clearly. And next mark is regarding the assaying center's identification mark. So which assaying center is providing all these marks will also be presented as a mark. So let's say assaying center Mumbai is providing this marking. So according to the marking that was given to the Mumbai's assaying center, it will be used to provide this marking, the third marking. Next is the jeweler's identification mark. So which jewelry shop is selling this gold item? So these are the 4 marks that have been mandated by the government to be present starting from June 1st of 2021. Otherwise, the government has brought in penal provisions or penalty. It has stated that if any gold item is being sold without these hallmarkings, then there will be a penalty of 1 lakh or 5 times the cost of the gold item. So this is a penal provision which is related to the mandatory hallmarking scheme. Next, there is an article which is talking about the Raisina dialogue. Raisina dialogue. This is a multilateral conference which is being hosted in the country of India and in the city of Delhi. So every year the Raisina Dialogue is hosted in the city of Delhi. This is a multilateral conference which is mainly to discuss about the concerns challenging the world society. It is a place where you can discuss about the concerns challenging the global community. So members which are part of various government organizations, members which are part of business organizations, and from international NGOs and other members from reputed organizations will be taking part in this Raisina Dialogue, and this Raisina Dialogue is being hosted by ORF, also called as Observer Research Foundation. This is a think tank. So Observer Research Foundation is hosting this Raisina Dialogue every year in Delhi, and it is taking help, or it is collaborating with the Ministry of External Affairs. Next, there is an article talking about Rajya Sabha. Now we'll see the background and the basic framework of Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the parliament, upper house of Indian Parliament, and the maximum permissible strength of Rajya Sabha is 250, whereas currently only 245 strength is being used in the Rajya Sabha, and among this 245, 233 MPs or the members of Parliament of Rajya Sabha are elected from states and union territories that have legislative assemblies by their MLAs. So MLAs of these states and union territories which have legislative assemblies will elect the MPs of Rajya Sabha. So it is an indirect election, and remaining 12 members are nominated by the president of the country, and they will be nominated if they have expertise or if they have any relevance in the field of art, science, literature and more. So people who have excelled in these fields will be nominated by the president of the country to the Rajya Sabha, and also you should note that Rajya Sabha members have a tenure of 6 years, whereas the tenure of the Lok Sabha members is 5 years. This is the main difference between the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. With this, we have come to the end of this session. Inform about this ADOTS initiative to your other aspirant friends. Thank you.
Add-on solutions. Add-on desires.